Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us here on Good Morning Colorado. The time is 8:12. You are taking a live look out in Cedar Point, where you can see a light dusting of snow there and ice on the ground. Definitely overcast. We're going to take it over to Storm Tracker 13 meteorologist Marty Vinicique. Marty, we're under a weather alert right now. What are we expecting?
Snow. Plenty of it in some cases, and it'll make for some slick travel. So a pretty wintry day, definitely a change from what we've had, and something we've been warning about now for some time. The snow is heavily falling over southern parts of our coverage area right now. How about the lack of view from our VR wireless neighborhood weather network camera here, trying to look over the San Juan Cristo Mountains, but I think you can see the terrain a little bit. It's definitely snowing pretty hard, and this is an area that will pick up some pretty healthy snowfall. We haven't had a lot of snow in Teller County. We've had a little bit of frost over the night as the trees have interacted with the fog that you can see there from up on top of Gold Hill. It's beautiful. Trees are real pretty. And we will get some snow in Teller County with the storm, but this isn't the type of storm that hits Teller County particularly hard compared to other areas. And we're getting some light snow now on the west side of Colorado Springs. This is the view from Gold Hill Mesa. Not nearly as much as is falling in Pueblo right now. And actually, as you get to the northeast side of town, there hasn't been very much snow at all. But you can see kind of a wetness to Woodmen Road as viewed from Abba Eye Care. There has been a light wintry mix of some freezing drizzle, and there might be some slick roadways just as a result of that, especially the bridges and overpasses, so be aware of that. You see the band of snow stretching from southwest to northeast, and some of these embedded darker bands. That's where the heaviest snow falls. In general, I think when this is all said and done, the heaviest snowfall accumulations that we get are going to come from some areas here in southern El Paso and northern Pueblo County, and then back here into the mountains to the south and west of Pueblo. Other areas are going to pick up snow. I just think that that's where the heaviest will end up falling, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Teens and 20s, that's it for everybody in Colorado, so not a lot of temperature variety out there. This isn't going to be a particularly windy storm, so we're not worried about a lot of blowing and drifting. But there's kind of two phases to it. The first phase is coming through right now with the leading upper level wave, and this area of snow will expand in coverage and head off towards the east here as we move through about midday or so. At that time, we'll start to transition to the backside of the storm system. And so what will happen is we'll start to see the snow erode a little bit between Colorado Springs and Pueblo as the wind briefly comes around out of the north. So at that time, it might be a little bit more snowy up on Monument Hill or perhaps into northern Teller County, and then for sure to the south and southwest of Pueblo as well. Highs today, kind of what you see is what you get. We're in the teens and 20s now, and we're not likely to get much warmer than that, save maybe Alamosa or Springfield, where we could be in the mid to upper 30s. The snow will gradually wind down as we head into the evening hours, although we'll have some intermittent, at least spotty snow showers around, probably through about midnight. And then after that, I think just some low clouds. But whatever falls is not likely to melt, so where crews don't have the opportunity to get to the roadways and clean them up, it'll probably still be pretty slick in some cases tomorrow morning. And notice we'll likely have some scattered snow showers up across the high country as the next little wave is already approaching. Snowfall is always kind of tough in these scenarios because of the bands that are there, and so the reality is we're going to have some varied snowfall accumulations across the region, but the heaviest stuff is definitely going to be focused on the higher terrain south and west of Pueblo and in this band that's been sneaking up here between southern El Paso and northern Pueblo County. So best guess, and this is always a guess, is we're talking somewhere from 2 to maybe as much as 6 inches of snow around the Pikes Peak region. Notice we don't have big bullseyes up around Teller County, so I think you'll have similar numbers as we might have at lower elevations. And in fact, from downtown Colorado Springs kind of southwestward to the south side of Cheyenne Mountain, typically in this scenario, that's an area that does pretty well. So that might be the area more likely to show us maybe 6 inches of snow. But we're all looking at something reasonably high enough to cause difficult travel across the area. And similar numbers, by the way, from Pueblo westward through at least eastern Fremont County, probably something like as little as 2 to as much as 6 inches. A little bit uncertain how far west this will get into Fremont County. So Canyon City, the 5.8 inches might be a little bit much, but you'll still get enough to make for some slick stuff. Then we get into the Wet Mountain Valley and some of the mountain areas south and west of Pueblo. You start feeling more confident that we start to see some higher amounts, and maybe as much as 10 inches or more once you get out here around Highway 160, La Vita Pass, back through Cuchara, and maybe down towards Stonewall if we can keep those bands in place there. Lows tonight, single digits and teens, so it's going to be chilly. Again, things aren't going to melt off by tomorrow morning, so I do expect some slick roads. And we're starting to see the snow stick a little bit now, as viewed from right here at the KRDO studios from our Steve's Paint Supply camera this morning. We're in for a colder week. It'll be windy at times. And by the way, we're not done with chances for snow yet, and we'll talk about that in our extended forecast coming up soon. Riley, back to you.